Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello and welcome to the late Apex. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick and alongside me is David Sampson, and over the next hour or so we are going to be discussing the latest news in the world of sim racing, in particular focusing on previewing the 2025 season of PESC and seeing if our Apex Racing team drivers have a good shot at the title, but we'll be discussing many other topics as well, varying different sim racing games. David, how are you this Thursday afternoon?
Thursday. I still sometimes think it's a Friday. This still hasn't sunk into me yet.
Fridays are weird. Fridays is like a bonus day, sort of, because it's like it should be Saturday right now.
Correct.
And so it's just like I've been granted this extra 24 hours. I'm so grateful.
Always. But yeah, I'm good. Looking forward to PESC. PESC All Stars. I'm pumped. I don't love the. I don't mind the track list, but there's some tracks I have to learn, and I'm lazy.
That's good vocabulary there.
Thank you.
We'll be discussing more about that a little bit later on, but let's first discuss a couple of the things in general sim racing news that have happened. Le Mans Ultimates, a few more details given about their DLC roadmap. Of course, anyone who's sort of followed this game knows that when it was released on early access, sort of this time last year, there were many features not included. No GT3s, for example, which made a return to, or made their introduction to WEC last year. So they've been adding them, adding many of the tracks as well. And there was an interview with Overtake.gg, and Stephen Good had an interview, who is the CEO of Motorsport Games. And they were basically discussing how in February we're expecting 2 more cars. And then in May, we're getting 2 more GT3s and Qatar as well. And at that point, by May, the content will pretty much be all there. We won't be missing pretty much anything at that point. And a full release might be possible as soon as early summer.
Let's hope, because we're still pushing and hoping for when does the virtual Le Mans come to the game. I think the chat has just gone dead quiet. Yeah, I'm excited for this. I don't know if we know the cars, so I'm scanning the information.
We don't know the cars, no. Not at the moment. I think we're expecting 1 more free car, at least in May, because, of course, so far the McLaren is free, I believe.
Correct. I don't know, I own it, so I don't know what's free.
Yeah. Some of the cars are free, at least. So I'm expecting 1 more free car. And it's Stephen Hood, apologies. I think I said Stephen Good earlier on, but Stephen Hood, who of course is the CEO of Motorsport Games. So of course, releasing those elements, Qatar is the 1 remaining track. apparently the reason for the delay when it comes to Qatar, which is actually the season opener for the season, so probably one that they would have wanted to be released quite quickly, was because I think they only got the scan for the circuit last August, and so they've been not had much time to develop it and to add it to the game. But that will be the final track that the game needs. And of course, if they can get it done by May, it does open up the possibility of a virtual Le Mans 24 hours.
That's with the pre-season.
Exactly. That's in June that will take part.
That would be great. I mean, I would turn my full attention. That would be so exciting. But let's see.
It would be a big risk. I think unless they are 100% confident it will work, don't do it. Like no one will remember in years' time you didn't host the events. They didn't host it last year, when people were sort of hoping to. The bad rep that they could get if they try it and it just fails completely would be so negative. I don't think it's worth the risk unless they're really competent about it.
So what do they call it? Race control? Is that the terminology they use? I think it's been solid. Perfect, no. Is anything perfect? No. But I mean, compared that to the R Factor 2 days, this has been a massive step up. They've been all those 1,000 little bugs that have been rearing its head over the last, I don't know, has it been a year now? It's been a long time. They've been patching, and so they have thousands of what do they call them, dailies or officials, and the online season they pay for. Servers have taken a big push forward. I mean, can they run for 24 hours? I assume they've been testing this all year long. Excited. Obviously, the more pressing news is the addition to driver swaps and liveries, which adds the whole element that people like. GT3s gave this sim a big boost. Can we pull the numbers? Yep, so here we go. So this was pre-GT3. If I do max, you can see the release. I forget what this was. Perhaps this was... Can't remember. Perhaps this was the first DLC, second DLC.
That's Le Mans, right?
Oh, that was it, the IRL Le Mans, correct. Here was when GT3 released, and we all just assumed it was going to do what every other patch, but it stayed strong. We're not going to tell it something isn't, but the numbers have definitely enjoyed the addition of GT3s. I think the addition of team racing and then leagues become more exciting. It opens up vastly quicker, I'm excited.
For people who aren't totally in the loop, this is currently an endurance game where you can't swap drivers
or do an endurance.
Or do an endurance.
Well, you can do 2-4s and stuff but any port, if they advertise the race longer than 2-4, you got to do it solo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be big. So apparently they are hoping for a V1.0 release. So I guess that means a full release of the game in May when all that content is added, and crucially the driver swaps and crucially the liveries as well. What would you say is the chances of that being the case, that we get a full release in May, or are you a bit hesitant? I mean, for me, I don't really care. I mean, it's been, say,
I think we can.
15 months since the early access. It's nice actually that they've taken advantage of the early access. They've actually taken on the support that they've been given by the community.
Yeah, their Discord's very, dare I say, the best, because it's just all their devs and developers and the public. Obviously, it's blown up a few times because their comments are so visible, but they're just hearing about a bug, okay, cheers, we'll check that out. Then in the bug releases, it's there. That's brilliant. That's a whole different realm of what we're used to, with the... Anyway, yeah, I think it's great. Every time I hop back on, I'm always impressed. The racing's fun, the graphics are good, the FPS is amazing. Yeah, I can see a full release happening.
Well,
I hope we get some legacy tracks. I hope they wake up and realise tracks that did go to WEC,
Silverstone.
Yeah, exactly. Let them be in... If they've ever been in WEC, bag them.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what circuits that would add. Silverstone's really the only one that comes to mind. Monza, I guess. They've already got Monza, though, haven't they?
Yes.
That got dropped from the calendar, but it's still...
Silverstone would be great, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they may have gone... They still go to Shanghai, I think. But yeah, there's a few...
But then I'd like to see an expansion out to that. They own the rights to ELMS, right?
Yeah.
Because then they got LMP3.
Mm.
I mean... That would be cool.
That'd be cool. Jack Styles, welcome, Jack. pointing out, obviously Mexico City would be added. That's
Yes.
got added, or that was in WEC many years ago. It was only there, I think, a couple of times. But yeah, that would be a cool circuit, which we don't see a whole lot in the sim racing world.
Oh, that would be good, yeah.
Let's move on to Assetto Corsa Evo, shall we? They have released an update, really more of a fix update, a patch, it seems.
Yeah,
than
there are a
anything else.
lot of things in there, but obviously more crucially in there is what I got access to was the driver license academy thing, which I thought was a blast. I mean, it was 6 hours of grinding until I got it done. But yeah, they've addressed... I haven't tested these things. I've just wrote them down, and I'm saying them in the form they are saying them. Optimized triple screen support, because, I mean, I played this game on single. Everyone who came into my stream was like, wait, does it not work on triples? Yeah. At 17 FPS. So, but yeah, they've optimized the triples, the VR. They've lowered the overall VRAM usage because that was extremely high. And then they just go through a metric list. I'll bring it up on screen, but it's not worth going over. Audio fixes, control and UI, rendering, graphical, physics. So they've just taken note of what the community's been asking for. But the standout ones for me were the push on triples, VR, and just to generally tighten up with the game. There was definitely some inconsistencies for me because through the driver academy, the Porsche Cup for me was awful to drive.
Sure.
Awful. Like even after like half an hour of grinding, I just did not enjoy it. Nothing felt. It didn't even feel like a car. It felt something felt really wrong. I ended up changing my settings, like hacking at the wheel rotation and doing weird things.
Do you think it's an element of you've driven that car so much in other games that...
Yeah, maybe. I have driven it in Rensport, iRacing, AC, ACC. Like, yes, I'm probably expecting something, but also I've driven thousands of cars, right? It just did not... Something about it just felt wrong. Like, that's the sense I got from it. It did not feel right at all. Felt very disconnected. So yeah, that driver academy lesson was really hard. I think it was Suzuka. I just had to learn to drive it rather than think I could understand it. But yes, they're trying to fix their server issues. The one thing I did make note of is this whole... Now, I know they're in very, very early access. They probably don't care. But we're seeing the impact of what happened when they promised to feature the online area and didn't deliver. So that number is a record all time on Steam for a racing game. Fact.
Okay. Yep.
iRacing never touched it, obviously. AC, ACC, Race Room, Rensport, you name it. As a sim racing title, nothing's touched 25,000. So to see 1,500 is... There's nothing to do, right? This is the problem. The online and all the cars, or the 20 or whatever, were all meant to come on release. And I think obviously a lot of people were just a bit hurt. So we're hoping to see this number climb back up, because I'd be gutted if people didn't get to experience the driver academy. If it had been there day one, I think people would have been really like, this is pretty cool. But we'll see. They've got, I don't know. The player base is obviously there. You don't accidentally hit 25,000 active at one point. I mean, what we just literally looked at LMU's numbers. What was LMU's all time? Let me look.
And it's similar price as well to LMU,
4,000 all time. And now their average is like, with GT3 is like 1,500-1,600. So it's a big difference. Yeah, let's see. I mean, it is exciting time as a sim racer right now with everything going on. We've got, Rensport and whatever they're doing. AC Evo getting through the initial launch. LMU's turned into a hard to meme. I mean, we don't cover... It's just solid. People who like it love it. The racing's good.
I said motorsport games earlier on, and neither of us laughed.
Correct,
That's good progress.
Yeah. They've really turned this into a solid foundation. Now they just need... Ironically, they need what AC already had. AC Evo has the player base.
Sure.
They just underbakes the release. LMU has the solid game. Now they need the player base. I suppose it's just a watch this space.
Yes. And we'll also move on to EA WRC. Le Maestros pack is out now. We did show the trailer for it a couple of weeks ago, but this pack, which includes new cars, stages, and liveries, it's available for $10. I think some of the features I saw is it's got like some cars from like the mid 2010s and stuff, so it's pretty comprehensive. There's some nicer ways as well to view the to view liveries as well, so you can preview all your liveries before you have a look. But yeah, look, you can see added the mid 2010s WRC class. Apparently they can't use Seb Loeb's name in the game because he has like a separate like licensing for his name compared to WRC or something. So there's like existing rights there which they're not allowed to cross. So if you want to play as Seb Loeb,
You have to phone him up and arrange a private contract.
yeah.
Good deal.
So I think that's amazingly all the sim racing news. There wasn't a whole lot today.
Well, there is one thing we could touch on, completely unscripted, but you know what it's going to be.
Okay, yeah, I know what it is. Yeah, well, we didn't really want to talk about this like overwhelmingly, or at least make it the headline, because I think it was our headline 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and we're not going to show the footage or the comments, but
Yeah.
I think we should cover it.
Max is playing a lot of iRacing.
Yeah, so he rocks up to a Road America race in the GTP, and he
Puts it on pole.
puts it on pole. And in second place is Jaden Muniz, who infamously, these two had a big incident at T1 at last IMSA Esports recently. Let's just add that recently. P3 was none other than Max Verstappen's teammate. Okay, so I'll give the rundown of what I saw in how I saw it. Max and his teammate were in voice and timed the start, but timed it too well. Guy behind got a penalty. Too good a start. Black flag. Jaden then moves to the right-hand lane before the corner, way before the corner, before the braking zone, as his right is. And Verstappen, sorry, Max, but too late, moves across and lifts or brakes, whatever. He literally moves across, and then Max's rear wing comes off.
Yep.
Max doesn't realise this yet, goes to take T1, loops it, takes out his teammate, both red lines dead.
And half the field as well.
And half the field dead. Jaden Muniz is not dead and rocking in P1. Max sits in the pits. Fast forward 20 minutes of a millionaire world champion sitting in an iRacing pits. Okay? His car's fixed. He comes out. He heads down to T5. He's going quite slowly on the inside. You think he's just letting the two GTPs through. Well, he's letting one of them through.
But Jaden is already talking in chat. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Like, I know what's going to happen here.
And as Jaden approaches T5 to turn, Max just comes off the brake and plows into Jaden, which didn't kill Jaden. There's more.
Yeah.
Jaden tries to get going again. Max gets going again. They take the next corner. On exit, Max just slams on his brakes and brake checks them. Now, this probably would have ended there. Obviously, can Max be banned? That would be the biggest question. Have iRacing got the cojones to ban Max? I don't know. I think he's been banned before, but...
Yeah, not recently, though, has he?
But what's blown up is Jaden was live during all this with his camera on and his mic on, and he said some things about Max and his family. Like, it was the heat of the moment, but the problem is, he's used to his few viewers watching, and, it ends there. But I've already seen this on CBS in America on their news website.
Wow. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So it's everywhere. The story's everywhere. And
I mean, what he said I don't think was that bad, and some of it was a bit unfair to Max in a way, in terms of saying, oh, you're only there because of your dad or whatever.
Correct.
Which obviously Max is a million times better than what his dad was. Obviously, to get into real life motorsport, you have to be loaded in the first place, so shouldn't be totally dismissed. But yeah, and then obviously Max has got a lot of fans. Max has got a lot of enemies. They weigh into the conversation as well.
But this is blown up on X. This is blown up on Reddit. If you Google Max's name right now, it's all over news articles and blogs. And I saw it on a proper news website in America. The article in America was literally Verstappen called out for being a spoiled brat. I was like, what? Clicked on it, and yeah, it's the iRacing argument. And obviously, someone on Reddit made a compilation video of everything that happened and was said. And then, yeah, Jaden's getting a lot of hate, unfortunately. Yeah, personally, I think it was Max's fault.
I mean, it's
the initial
doubt.
incident,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
Max
it's
caused
obviously
it,
his fault, yeah.
and then Max intent wrecked, and then Max intent wrecked again.
Yeah, I mean, I usually defend Max. And to be fair, I didn't think too badly about what he did in IMSA Esports. I thought iRacing probably should have taken a harder line on it, but I didn't think it was the worst thing I've ever seen, and not
Correct.
unexpected. But yeah, it is very childish to just intent wreck someone after they've...
Well, even when I say it was Max, even if it's not Max, it's somehow an incident, racing incident. It's not Jaden's fault. So that much, you cannot move across someone's line and brake at the same time in a GTP, heading into braking zone. But yeah, I feel bad for Jaden. He's a really good guy. And the hate he's getting right now is unprecedented. It's no one in the sim racing community. The sim racing community defended him, but big names are weighing in. But what does that matter? Those people do not know who you are. You're not, you're big in our niche. Yeah, but outside that, you're just another ranting. You're just an anti-Max. That's how it's seen. Yeah.
I hope iRacing get the courage to ban him, even if it's just for a couple of weeks.
What with virtual Le Mans coming around the corner?
Well, I was thinking this as well in terms of, well, what would he go to? But like in the short term, what would he go to? Like, and by the time that virtual Le Mans is a thing, F1 season will be going again. I know he can race in his motorhome or whatever, but it's still not as feasible. So I think actually banning him for 2 weeks, whilst he's a bit bored right now, probably, I think that would teach him a lesson. I think it probably would deter him from doing it in the future.
Rock up on the Yoss account, which is a breach.
Sure.
Then what do they do?
True.
He'll force their hand.
Absolutely do it, yeah.
He would force their hand, like, okay, you're going to lifetime ban me now, are you? He would force their hand.
But I think iRacing...
No, they're not going to lifetime ban Max.
Well, do you think they... I think if it was... I don't know, he's a big NASCAR driver. Dale Earnhardt. Well, he's part of the development team, so I guess it's a bit different. But I know Carl Busch. Would they be, because obviously the iRacing?
I don't know. I don't know.
American, so I don't know how much they value these F1 drivers necessarily, and realise just how much of a spread they have. I don't know.
Well, I saw one moment in the tweet that I thought was going to calm it all, but it did not. It just added fuel. There was a tweet from Jaden years ago that someone had put as part of this thread, and Jaden had wrote, "There is no better driver than Max."
Sure.
And I just felt like, sad that all this is happening, but yeah, it's tough.
Yes. Well, let's move on to Apex Racing Team now, because we've got a lot to talk about, and let's talk about PESC then, because the new season is starting on Saturday, and we have. Of course, we're involved with Apex Racing Team, and we have 4 drivers from Apex Racing Team driving for this season. We've got Alejandro Sanchez and Luca Kita, who are representing our Stormforce team. So that's 2 of our drivers. And then we've also got Luke McCowan and Johan Harth representing Apex Racing Team as well. So 4 drivers. There's no team championship involved, so we're going to be supporting all 4 of them. Absolutely equally, and see how they can get on. What do you think of the schedule? I mean, you're going to have to race these circuits as well.
I barely know Mugello. I don't know Sesame Ring. I don't know Thruxton. The rest is fine. Le Mans not a strong track of mine, so I have to check what car. Hopefully, we're driving in P Cup or something. Spa, Fuji, Daytona is fine, but yeah, I need to learn the other 3. I know Mugello a little bit.
I like that they mix up these circuits. However, I think when it comes to entertainment, Sachsenring and Thruxton are a mistake. I know you don't know those circuits very well, but at Thruxton, you can... I guarantee there will not be any overtakes at Thruxton. Thruxton is a very narrow circuit, not really any long straights. It's a very quick circuit, but it's sort of always sort of bending. It's because the corners themselves are very quick rather than the straights being particularly long as such. And Sachsenring is just, again, to be fair, another very quick circuit, but it's all corners. It's high-speed left-hander, 100 meters, high-speed left-hander, 100 meters.
I'm just annoyed. I've got to learn 3 tracks. It takes me ages to learn a track. And yeah, Fuji and Le Mans, and Fuji's a strong track of mine, but Le Mans is not. I love Le Mans. I've done it millions of times, but I'm not at my peak rating at Le Mans. That's for sure.
I think Le Mans. It's a shame that Monza isn't there. That's usually a staple.
Yeah, that was the season closer.
As well. They're very raceable circuits. I don't mind Fuji too much. Mugello, I don't really know what to expect. I feel like that might be quite dull.
I hope we're not in a GTP.
Would they do 2 GTPs in a row?
I think so.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, why don't you want to be in a GTP? That sounds like
learning a circuit. I don't know the tracks. Learning a circuit in a slow car sounds like I can look ahead and be like, okay.
Yeah.
GTP, you need to know everything, right?
The curbs are pretty lethal as well at Mugello, so yeah, you might need to watch that. So that is the schedule. Let us know what you think of the schedule. Do you think they should be going back to Long Beach? They tried that a couple of years ago. Did you do it last season as well?
I did.
Yeah.
Was the Long Beach?
It was certainly there 2 years ago. I can't remember if it was there last.
I can't remember.
But what about the drivers?
Let's go.
Who are you? So unfortunately, this is an alphabetical order. So it's not in team order.
All right. Well, obviously, I've driven with Gustavo in team races like 4 or 5 times. He's excellent. He's one of the best. I don't know Bico all that well. Jordan Caruso is a very, very,
former champion,
very strong driver.
Racing for Force India.
Yeah.
Delivery.
Oh yeah. Will Chadwick, I've had the pleasure of meeting in Munich. Again, ridiculously strong, very talented guy.
Very good in the Porsche Cup as well. He's been racing in PECC GB and is doing very well. He's currently 2nd in the championship, or maybe even leading the championship actually.
Yep. Bryn Collins, strong driver. I don't really know too much about his background. Wait, Mitch, I thought he retired.
Yeah, he's back. A lot of the Coanda guys are back, aren't they, for this season? Because they're previously, I think they've not taken part because of a conflict of interest potentially, but they are taking part this season.
Oh, okay. I don't know Carlos. He's not a name I recognise. Johan, let's go. Animal. I'm excited to see what he can do. Tristan, yeah, he's a guy I like. Rooting for him as well. Beckham, wow, he's young. Yeah, I've seen him. Matt, I saw how he got his 10K or 11K. He rocked up to Ferrari fixed VIR and won, I don't know, 18 in a row.
Sure,
Disgusting. Yeah. Disgusting how he did that. Marco Yanni, obviously former Apex driver. Really strong driver.
He had to re-qualify. He qualified through contenders in 23, lost it in 24, and then has regained it again.
So tell me about this team that, scroll back up, that Thingy's driving for, Mitchell de Jong. What is this team that you said Force India? What is this?
Team Indian Racing Festival by, I think it's basically like an Indian sim racers community type thing.
Oh, okay.
Organisation.
Wow. What we got? Okay, Sebastian Job, obviously. I think pound for pound is the best sim racer on the planet.
Yeah, he's won the title once or twice, I believe. I think Rogers has maybe won it 3 times. Job maybe twice.
Yeah, obviously Luca Kita, I've met a few times. He's or is a factory Mercedes driver in real life, wasn't he?
I'm not 100% sure.
Let me see. Great guy, really strong. Let me look. Luca Kita.
Sam in there as well for Team Redline. Former based in Apex Racing Academy F3 back in like 2020. He's been on Apex Racing TV himself in the past, but has really achieved a lot. Nicholas, not totally familiar with. Of course, Luke.
Animal. Should
be really considered as one of the favourites. Kevin Nielsen, Daniel Pastor.
Diego Pinto, very strong.
Former champion back in 2022, I think. Pinto. Oscar Pike.
Obviously, former ARL. Picked up a race ban for his controller fiasco.
He raced with the controller, wiped someone out, and that was a mess. Elvis, best of luck to him.
Is this thing funded by Commander?
Well, I think it's like a collaboration with Commander.
What, like Stormforce, but India? Is this what we're saying? Because Mitchell de Jong, I thought, retired from professional sim racing. He's driving for it. And then you got Elvis, which we know is Coanda.
Mm. Yeah, it's certainly affiliated. So yeah, with Coanda, yeah, they're using Coanda drivers.
Love the livery though.
Mm.
Xander Reed, not a name I recognise. Sanchez, I mean, I say Sebastian Job's the best sim racer on the planet, but I mean, I think Sanchez is one of the best iRacers on the planet, if not the best.
Yeah. Moreno.
Yep.
Julian. Not totally familiar with Julian. Good to see Josh back.
Yeah, Josh, very strong driver, nice guy. Elliot Veyron's name I've seen a lot in the PESC, but I don't really know well at all.
And Cooper Webster, hoping that his ping isn't too annoying. Who are you picking for your top 3? Would you say this season?
3.
I'll
Scroll down one more time. Yeah. Oh, you can't make me pick between Apex drivers, mate. That's not fair. Damn, that's quite the lineup. Pick 3.
Pick 3. Yeah.
Sanchez, Yob. It's got to be a Coanda if I'm picking a 3rd, because they're going to work together like crazy. I'm not sure. Or Gustavo. 3rd. Okay, hold on. No. Oh man. No, I don't know. That's really hard. Pinto.
Sure, I think that's wise. I mean, I'm going to go Yob, Luke. I think Luke's going to take another step up this season.
He's an animal, yeah.
And well, let's be positive. I'll go Sanchez in 3rd. So that'll be my top 3. I would take that top 3. I'm sure all the Apex guys would like to win the title, but I think if we could get a 2nd,
we need to see how it pans out with the team aspect. Let's not forget there's a lot of Redline drivers, a lot of Coanda drivers, and hopefully Apex has partnered up with another team. I know we've got Stormforce, but we could do with a friend, because there's a lot of Redline and Coanda guys. And at last outing we saw Coanda. I mean, it was they look ready. Let's just say that. But yeah, I mean, all the ART boys can win it. Johan and Luke and Sanchez and Kita are top dogs.
Yes, absolutely. Not many rounds as well, so small mistakes or one bad round and that could be costly. Before, I think in seasons before, when it was many more races, you could sort of bring it back, but now that it's only 7 of them.
And obviously we saw the announcement for Josh retiring from, pulling out of PESC. Josh Rogers?
Oh, Josh Rogers, yeah.
Yep. I assume that's the focus on Rennsport, but
yeah, because he was what, like 3rd in contenders, wasn't he? And then I guess he was just keeping his options open, I guess. But then I'm not sure entirely how it works, but I think if you decline your spot, then that can ban you for the following year. So.
I think he would get a year ban. I don't know if there was there could be a cut-off date and he was before it.
I don't know if it's different for contenders drivers compared to drivers who qualified by finishing the top 15.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Season.
You're right. There is definitely a line where if you cross it, it's a year ban, but only from PESC, we mean. But yeah, that's a shame because obviously we love to see Sebi and Josh. Obviously, of course, everybody does.
I was looking at the Wikipedias recently, the sim racing wikis, and it's weird how much it has ebbed and flowed some seasons where Seb would dominate one season, then Josh would dominate, then Seb would dominate, then Josh would, and then of course in the last few seasons we've had Caruso winning a title, and Pinto won a title, of course. Who won it last season? I'm forgetting who won it last season. But
remember.
We've had a few different winners in recent times.
It was
it Seb?
Yeah.
It was Seb. And I forgot. Yeah.
Wait, he won it and did ESL?
Yeah, and he was only just ahead of Diogo. Diogo pushed him hard. But yeah, Seb, I thought Seb may have won, but I didn't realise he actually did. So yeah, I think Seb has won it twice. I think Rogers has won it 3 times now. Pinto with 1, Caruso with 1.
This was last year. Obviously, Sanchez, Luke, Johan.
Came down to the last race as well. There were some big changes in the last race between.
Was that the year Gustavo won? He won the main and the like. He won the reverse grid and the main race, I think.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Yeah, there was a weird
maybe,
one.
Yeah.
Think so.
So yeah, do tune into that. I think it's on at 7 o'clock UK time, 8 o'clock European time on Saturday. And being Daytona, it will be very entertaining. Of course, do tune in as well. But just before that, David's race, he's racing in the Streamers events. And will be taking part in the championship and maybe getting himself on another watch.
The better. I mean, when you go to the Super Bowl, it's all about watching Beyonce, right? No, the game's great.
Yeah, and when I look at you, I think
Beyonce.
Beyonce.
Because I thought.
I often have to go, no, his name isn't Beyonce, it's David.
Correct.
I have to always think about that.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Obviously, we're in GTP, though, so Daytona is going to be... It's open quali in GTP, which is... You either got draft or it's carnage, and it's full reverse grid.
Yeah.
Full.
Yeah.
So T1, you know, if whoever finished last, if they're feeling completely uncomfortable with the car, it's just scary.
Mm.
You hear them on the radio, don't know how to turn this thing. You're like, okay, well, good luck. Don't spin. David, has the lineup been announced? It hasn't, no, to be honest. They haven't even said I can talk about it, but everything's settled my end. There's just been no announcement from them. Sure. I expect it soon. But, well, I mean, we're racing Saturday, so
yeah,
we might just all rock up.
You're hoping that no one else has been signed.
Correct.
And you can just
send me the watch.
Do laps.
No, just send me the watch. No laps.
Let's talk about Porsche GB. It was Snetterton round 2 of the season on Sunday, which might be a little bit of a tricky thing for Luke. He's got 2 different series to look at, but maybe he'll do well regardless, I'm sure. But it was a fun one because the organisers had organised that the race would get wet at the end, at the start of race 2. However, this is 6 minutes to go in race 1, and you can see that it is starting to rain. With 6 minutes to go. So, how wet does it get? They, of course, go to the talented Mr. Sam Fitzpatrick.
Look at that handsome man.
So, I didn't realise I do this with my head.
What, do you lean?
Yeah, have a look at it. I mean, the frame rate isn't great on the camera. But I'm really, like,
I get mocked all the time, and I tell people, yeah, I bet you do it as well.
But you don't do it as much as I do. You look like a normal person.
No, I move my entire body, mate.
Sure.
But yeah, you look a bit alien when you bend your head like that. Here we go. And...
But I mean, watch and learn, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that's how you do it. And it caused some really crazy racing. Oh, actually, I will stick on that. Yeah, it caused some crazy racing. The last few laps, it became borderline faster to pit. I mean, this is still with 3 minutes to go.
Cool.
The drivers are tiptoeing round. The last lap was very entertaining.
This is what we want to see, the world's best having to challenge with the conditions.
And we're still on the wets at this point. Oh, so it's still on the slicks. One driver pitted for wets, and they were 20 seconds a lap faster at the end. But this is going on to the last lap. Oh, this is Pete getting involved in a little collision with Will. I mean, there's no grip on the racing line whatsoever.
Wow.
Seb versus Luke.
Animals, these two.
Yeah, the back when they went across the line, only 0.3 of a second ahead. Now, as long as he brings it home ahead, then doesn't matter what the gap is. But right now, his task is to survive.
God, there is nothing yet to use Sebi there to turn.
And these guys are excelling in these conditions. I mean, everyone else is spinning basically, but these guys are still keeping a decent pace.
Good Lord.
And this is what the race came down to. Seb versus Luke going under the bridge.
Go on. Oh.
McEwen to the inside, Job
Oh.
on the grass. They're
Oh.
both on the grass. Neither of them can make the corner, so they scrabble back on. And he's got the momentum. Luke McEwen tries to get up the inside of Sebastian Job. Neither of them can really get the power down because not only is the road wet, but so are the tyres.
Oh my.
The wet grass, so they're tiptoeing to the end. McEwen thinks about the inside at Coram. Can't make it stick there. Sebastian Job, I think he's going to survive.
And then Luke had one more go at it
Luke McEwen is
at the
right
final
there
corner.
behind him. There's half a gap on the inside coming out of Coram, but it's the outside they bring down the end of the lap.
And in Seb's defense there, when you turn the wheel in that scenario, nothing's happening.
Yeah, I get it.
Like anyone who's done like karting on slicks, it's sort of that similar feeling where you are nothing's
Wow.
happening.
What a finish, though. Whoa.
Really fantastic finish. I don't want to boast, but
Yeah, go on, do tell.
those were my conditions. I got points. I finished 6th out of 12 AMs, so I got 3 points to my name. So I was pleased. Race 2 was fully wet, but we got to start on the wet tyres. Unfortunately, Pete had taken the lead. So I'll rewind. In fact, I'll rewind to where Pete actually took the lead, because he did very well to do that. After starting in...
Wait, David's back driving. Williams.
Yep. So Pete went up the inside there, I think from like 4th on the grid, and he's already up into the lead on lap 2. However, he was not very lucky. David making a mistake
No.
and slamming Pete. I'm almost certain if Pete wasn't hit there, he would have won the race. He would have sprinted away from the rest of the field. But unfortunately, and that was an annoying mistake from Dave, because when you go through that corner in practice, sort of you know when to turn right.
Yeah.
Sort of like you can bail out of it, but David took too long to bail out.
I feel bad mentioning his name now. It was nice to see David back on the track.
Yeah, not something that Pete thought. What was this one? Oh, this is just a mess. This is funny. This one.
No.
Final corner.
What?
I don't know what was going on with Matt.
He just got too excited, or was he on the dry line?
I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if he genuinely was trying to overtake.
Oh, wait, I think he touches the grass, mate. I don't think, if you go back, he's trying to minimal steer because he knows he's going to touch the grass, and he does. So I think he's understeering, like deliberately under-rotating the wheel to try and not slide out to the grass, and he touches it, and then there are no brakes. Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't have known it was going 3 wide right at the corner.
And so these were the results. It was a decent day. Luke got 2 second places. He's right in the championship hunt. He's still very close to Seb at the top of the championship. Pete, 4th and 5th. I think he'll feel a little bit frustrated that he couldn't get 3rd in the race 1. And then, like I said, if it weren't for the collision with David, I think he would have probably won race 2. And Leo, who's had a really good start to the season, I messed up Leo's qualifying lap because I wasn't that quick. And so he left like a second to me for his last qualifying run. And by 3/4 of the way around the lap, he'd caught me. And so I was pushing as hard as I possibly could. But
wait, it's open queue.
It's open queue, yeah.
No.
So we all go out in one group, and I guess you know the Porsche Cup, the tyres get faster. So you go out and you are just doing 5. You do 2 warm-up laps where everyone's just weaving, and then you do, I guess, 3, or not even that, 2 fast laps, 2 or 3 fast laps, to see what you can get out the car. And yeah, but he got within the reverse grid. That's what Leo's done really well so far this season. He's been in the top 2 on the grid for race 2, and that's what really matters. So he's having a good season. So
I blame Leo. I'd want more than a 1 second gap behind you.
Well, anyone who's driven against me will know he won't be making that mistake again. He'll be thinking, all right,
3 or 4.
5 seconds. I reckon we're going to be safe here. But no, like you should blame him because I mean, what's he thinking?
Yeah, rocking up behind an AM.
Exactly. One of the slowest AMs.
No.
So there's now a furious battle in the championship for 7th down to 12th. where 7th down to 12th in the end, we've scored like barely any points, like up to 3 points for us, guys. So we will see how that happens for the rest of the season. eNASCAR, exciting news. We have a couple of drivers.
Let's go.
eNASCAR, I think maybe with the help of yourself, David.
Well, no.
Contacted us
I
about
just
having.
name dropped.
Sure.
That's it.
And yeah, I think eNASCAR came to us and wanted us to be involved as, of course, one of the biggest teams in iRacing. And we've got Christopher Hill and Cody Bias, who are going to be representing us. We had to do a new livery for the car, and yeah, really best of luck to them.
The thing that makes me happy is I'm going to grab that livery, orange it up, and then I've got myself a NASCAR livery. Bam.
Yeah, yeah.
With permission, of course, from no one. I'm not going to ask. I'm just going to do it.
For Daytona 500, you're going to need one. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a good race. I love the Daytona 500. But that's great to, yeah, when they reached out and we just got chatting, some doing the broadcasting side of things. Yeah, he said, any teams? And I just name dropped one team.
Yeah.
And said I'd DM him the rest later. But the trick was done.
Yeah.
Thomas
trying to console my feelings. No, Sam, you're not one of the slowest. You have some decent speed. Just need a golden round. Apologies, Thomas. I can't see the end of your comment, but I think it means golden round. So thank you, Thomas. But unfortunately, I have qualified, I think, second to last. I have qualified second to last in both races. So we'll see if there's an improvement at Thuxton, which is the next round.
You're going to do great.
And of course, if you need any tips for Thuxton later on in the season, I mean, I would have raced there. So
I hope it's peak up, then, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Be after your telemetry.
Apex Racing TV, we've got a couple of clips.
So fast.
This was a good overtake. So we are following one of the GTPs, and this is for the lead, and the GTP in front of them has got held up and managed to go through. Then they almost completely ruined it for themselves by threading the needle.
That was not threading the needle. That was... What was that, mate?
That was punching a hole.
Yeah.
Honestly, the GT3, though, I think has to take some blame, right? The GT3s, that's like middle lane driving.
Well, there's a GTP on his right as well. Yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure.
And then we also had a crazy last lap in Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup. Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup at Road America was a fantastic round. The field was so competitive. And this is some of the racing we were getting on the last lap of the A final. And we had a long snake of cars.
Love Road America. Oof.
One car went off. But this is where it gets really fun. Down into Canada Corner.
I enjoyed, was it last week, racing this combo, Porsche Cup Road America?
Yep. We followed the officials.
Going for an aggressive move, and he's probably going to try and go for a last corner. Well, just completely dart out of it.
Oh, Lazarus was in my chat asking if I'm going to be broadcasting this. Corey, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Corey. So that was a very bumpy final corner, but then half of them have to come into the pits because they've gone over the instant limit and they're trying to serve their drive-throughs.
That guy came in sideways.
Yeah. Half of them had slowdowns. It was absolute chaos. So you can see how close. So I think they got a slowdown by cutting the last corner.
Yikes.
And then some of them had to dive into the pits. Some of them start braking before the line comes up.
What the hell? Oh my god.
So Pedersen ended up winning out of that, but he'd gone over the instant limit as well, so he got a 40-second post-race penalty. So it was just an absolute mess of trying to work it out. Dimbolo had a slowdown, but he didn't serve it, so he got a 40-second post-race penalty.
Wow.
And some of these guys, there's an onboard of one of the drivers of Sabota. He gains like 6 places on the run to the line. That guy dives in right in front of him.
1, 2, 3. Oh, that's why he comes in sideways. He goes across the grass and then gets 1 here, 2 here. Wow. Kept his cool.
So a really good final lap there in ARA Porsche Cup. Recommend tuning in for next week. It will actually be not the single. It will be a single race at Imola, so on Tuesday. Coming up later on, we have Apex Racing League GT3 Trophy at Suzuka. Heavy rain. It should be a fun one. It's going to get maybe wetter and wetter. We're not quite sure what the rain intensity is going to be like, but it's going to start raining in practice, midway through practice, and then continue raining pretty much to the end of the race.
Excellent.
So
Last time we broadcasted Suzuka, it was rain.
yeah. It seems like
Actually, last time we broadcasted, we had DM saying it's too wet.
yeah,
and
that
we
was
replied,
endurance, right?
Deal with it.
I wasn't there for that one. I got myself away from the.
Yeah, and you know me, I just leant over and cranked it up. Oh, it's too wet, is it? Okay, there you go. That should help.
Let's see if that helps. Yeah, it'll be quite chaotic. I mean, we had like 55 drivers in the previous round. I feel like though Suzuka is quite, and obviously I'm jinxing it here, so hopefully that will counteract it. I'm touching wood, but Suzuka isn't too bad a corner at first part of the lap for turn 1. Because if you get hit, you sort of spear off into the distance and sort of don't end up in the middle of the track in comparison to somewhere like Spa, where you've got a big braking zone there.
Yeah, it's very true.
So I'm trying to be positive.
It's still, this is going to be Spoon, 130R. The last corner, I know we don't talk about the last corner because you come out the chicane and it's just a right-hander. Well, there's nothing to learn. In the wet, it's something to learn. There's a lot of steering degree and a lot of throttle, and you're just not used to thinking. There's a curb on the inside as well. You clip that and unload a tyre, you're gone, mate.
Yeah.
I can't wait. So, yeah, we're going to be broadcasting that in 2 hours.
Roughly.
I say
in
confidently.
2 hours. 3 hours. 3 hours. We'll be broadcasting it. So tune into that on the channel. But that's everything on our notes. Anything else you wanted to mention?
No, obviously, I think the big story there was all the LMU stuff. I know it's more talk, but they're rounding things off now. I'm excited to see what they've become and how they push forward. Like, I think we can give them credit where credit due. GT3's worked. Like we said, GT3's Virtual Le Mans. They've got to hit these tickets, and GT3's hit. The online stuff was a bit of a sideball. I don't know how well it's gone down on its entirety because we don't know the numbers published or anything. It's a good earner for them. Nevertheless, I'm looking forward to seeing their... Usually we meme on their quarterly earnings, but hopefully there's a good story coming in the next one. Driver swap and liveries. Let's go. That's all I can say to that. Let's go. Some endurances in LMU. I'm excited for that. Very excited.
Well, that will be everything from us. Of course, once again, do check out the broadcast later on. If you've only caught part of this, you can watch it back, obviously, on YouTube, or you can listen to it on any podcast streaming platform that you wish to try.
Shout out to Spotify.
Shout out to Spotify. And not a lot of people have heard of Spotify, so I think it's good that we're just giving them a bit of name. I think eventually
I just think they could sponsor the show, yeah.
Yeah. We'd be up for it. Honestly, I would be willing for this to be a Spotify exclusive. If they pay us like 100 million quid
each,
like they did for Joe, then I'd be down for that. So
yeah.
If you're watching, whoever you are in
200
Sweden,
million if they want us to do it Fridays though.
Yeah,
because we like this Thursday.
We do like this Thursday. So.
Yeah, and we need pizza. Apart from that, deal.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for tuning in, everyone, and we'll see you back next week.
Ciao.